Today, I'm joined by Rebecca Petrilli. She's going to be here talking all about how you can prepare for the MPRE, having a successful summer, and all of the great free resources that Themis Bar Review has for law school students. Trust me, you don't want to miss this episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Break into Law School. I'm your host, Lavetta Jenkins. Welcome back, Rebecca.
Hi, Lovetta. It's great to be here.
Oh, it is so good to have you back. We are talking all about how to have a successful summer, especially with it being, kind of the end of the semester and everybody moving out from studying. I know that there are things we can talk about now that'll help set them up for a much better fall. Themis Bar Review has a lot of resources, and one of them is for a very important test. And I know everybody's got to take it. Tell us a little bit about your MPRE prep.
Absolutely. So we offer an MPRE course that is completely comprehensive. It takes you through every single thing that you need to know to study for the MPRE. For those of you who are not yet aware, the MPRE is the Multi-State Professional Responsibility Exam. It's a 60-question multiple choice test, and you take it in 2 hours at a testing center through Pearson VUE, and you register online through the NCBE. You pay the testing fee and you choose your location. It's a first come, first serve on the location, so make sure you register early. The test is administered every March, August, and November. So you have a few times a year to take it. And you do need to take it for almost every single bar jurisdiction. So if you plan to sit for the bar exam and get your bar licensure, you almost certainly have to take the MPRE. Now, it is a test of professional legal ethics. So you're going to be tested on those concepts in a similar way to what you see in your professional responsibility classes. But the way the questions are worded is often very different than what you see in your PR class. So that's where Themis's course comes in, and you can get that comprehensive study plan. It's completely free. Video lectures, an outline, practice questions, full-length practice exam, and fill-in-the-blank lecture handouts to take you through every single thing that you need to know to study for and pass the MPRE. It is completely free. We do not charge any money for that course. And it's also set up just like our bar review course in terms of structure and format. So you're able to really get a feel for who our professors are, what our question formats look like, what our platform looks like. Is the platform easy to use? So it's a multifaceted benefit to you as the student.
I like that. So Themis Bar Review is not just here helping you get to the bar, it's helping you get to those big milestones along the way. Now, you mentioned that the questions there's about 60 of them. Is there a certain allotment of time that you suggest people study in order to prepare for it?
That's a great question. We recommend about 2 weeks of studying, 20 total hours. So if you break that down, that's about 2 hours a day for 2 weeks. You can condense that into a week or spread it out a little bit longer if you want to. Don't try to condense it into like 3 days, right? Part of the process of learning is giving yourself time to absorb what you did and then go back the next day and build on that. So you do want to give yourself a long enough runway to really learn the material effectively, but this is not a 6 month study process or anything like that.
Right. So you said they have the test in the beginning of the year, and what is it, March, then August, and then November? Is that what you said?
Correct, yes.
So three times a year, and you said that it's first come, first serve, and that there is no late registration. So what happens if you're kind of at that deadline? Do you think it would be wise if you're not really 100% prepared come August that you just push it out and wait till the one in November?
So you can take the MPRE as many times as you want. I would recommend sitting for the test anyway, even if you don't think you're prepared, because you will have to pay that registration fee again regardless. So I think it's worth testing your
Mm.
luck just to see if you pass, because if you pass, then you won't have to take it again.
Ooh, I think that's a good one. Just go ahead and take it because you can take it as many times. Now, I know that we're talking about, things that are happening in March, August, November, and we're really looking at moving through the summer and making sure that our next year is more successful. Themis Bar Review has a lot of great resources, and we also have the Break into Law School conference that's coming up in June, which is another free resource for people going into law school. Tell me some things that Themis would offer or that you know of that could be very helpful moving into the fall semesters.
Yeah, one of the best things I think you can do as a law student to really prepare yourself for your upcoming semester is to know what classes you're in, right? Like, you know what your course schedule is going to be more or less. And you'll have that add drop period where you may end up switching your schedule around a little bit. But knowing the overall kind of skeleton outline of each of your classes moving into the semester is going to make it so much easier for you to piece concepts together as you're learning them, especially earlier on in the semester when things are not necessarily as connected as they will be later. You're kind of learning these concepts a little bit. It seems like they might be kind of piecemeal at that point. But if you have taken some time to skim through an outline of the course or look through some, past exams that your professor has through your school or things like that, just to kind of know what to expect, you're going to walk into that class with a better idea of how to take good notes and how to pay attention to core concepts that you think might end up on the exam.
That was very, very smart. Researching what kind of class, doing a little bit of digging and note taking on what you're going into can definitely make for a successful fall. Now, I know that, everybody's really just kind of done and burned out by now, but there are things, like I said, that we can do to make sure that we're refreshed and better come fall. Anything else that you think you might be able to offer, or a tip or trick that you can think of?
Absolutely. So I will start by saying you don't need to start that process in May. You don't need to immediately go and say, okay, I just finished finals. Let me figure out what my next semester is going to look like. You don't have to do that until like July. So don't worry. You have time to take a break. You have time to rest. Themis offers our law school essentials, totally free, like our MPRE course, but designed to be for your bar tested courses. So we have courses for all of your first year bar tested classes, and then we also have a good number of upper level bar tested classes. And for those, we provide outlines, video lectures, practice questions, and practice essays. So, like I said, skim through an outline. You can use the Themis outlines to do that. You can look at the Themis multiple choice questions for each of those subjects and say, okay, what kinds of questions might I see while I'm going through this class? What might the hypotheticals look like? How can I walk into this with a little bit of a better idea of what I'm going to be doing throughout the semester? Like I said, it's totally free and you can sign up for that at our website. It's very easy to get signed up and you'll have access to that all school year.
I love the fact that you said it's free to get into it and you don't have to worry about all of this stuff until July. So, yes, you can take a little bit of time off to decompress, have a little bit of a vacation, get your own thoughts together before you have to really think about what you need to be doing. Now, of course, we've got the conference in June. You've got the fact that they probably should start looking at things in July. You got some time to take a couple of weeks off before you have to get right back into the swing of paying attention, taking notes, and potentially trying to avoid the burnout. But definitely setting yourself up for a successful summer will lead into a much better fall. Now, you mentioned looking into the classes, looking into, the way your professor would lecture. Is there anything else that you think we may not have covered yet?
I think talking to people who've taken the classes previously is a great
Oh,
idea. If you have friends who are a year ahead of you, or if you're in your upper level courses and someone took it the semester before, etc., just kind of getting a feel for that professor's teaching style, right? The
mhm.
black letter law is going to stay the same no matter who's teaching the course to you. The black letter law does not change. But the way the material is presented, the expectations of the professor, the type of
Mhm.
exam that you're going to be seeing, all of that is professor dependent. So getting a little bit of insight into that before you step into class for the first day is always going to be a big benefit.
Ooh, I think that's something I hadn't even thought of either. Finding someone who was potentially in that class and that professor just to say, okay, listen, I know you can't give me notes or anything, but what types of styles do they like? How do they teach? Am I allowed to miss a day and kind of catch up? Those are all really good things to know before you step foot in a classroom. And also the act of being prepared. I know a lot of people, are going into their 2 or their 3L, but there's also the thing about being prepared, making sure you've had adequate sleep, you've got all the right utensils. If you're a note taker, those are things we also need to be thinking about as well moving into the summer, taking that little bit of time to recoup and then moving forward. Are there any school supplies that you can think maybe somebody would really enjoy that, or it would make a difference in somebody that maybe they don't know about?
Well, I think you should always work with school supplies that kind of make you happy, right? Like I love a beautiful notebook. If I have a beautiful notebook, I'm going to have so much more fun taking notes. And that may not be everybody's thing, right? But for me, that's great. I love a nice pen. And it doesn't mean an expensive pen. I just want a pen that writes well and feels good when it's pen to paper. So think about the things that will make this feel more easeful for you and lean into that because law school is really challenging, right? There are going to be a lot of days where you are like, I don't like this today. But if you have those little tiny moments of joy throughout your day, it's going to make things a lot better.
There was a show on Netflix back in the day, Tidying Up, and she would say, "Does this spark joy?" You kind of want your notebooks or your ink pen to spark joy. I know the love of the feeling of a pen that writes smoothly. So making sure you've got something that isn't stuttering its way along your paper definitely could make a difference in how you feel in taking notes. And yes, this is something super small, but I also think that just the little small things add up to making it not so bad. Like you said, it's already going to be hard. Might as well bring a little bit of sunshine. So if that means getting a bright and colorful notebook or a pen with a feather at the end, then whatever you got to do to make sure you're having a great time or that you can make studying just a little bit easier, then I definitely say we should do it. So once we get into the fall, what can you tell me that we need to be looking forward to make sure we stay on top of everything?
Well, one more thing I want to mention about school supplies is that you will want to have a nice stock of highlighters. And
Ooh,
2Ls and 3Ls will already know this, but
yeah.
1Ls, incoming 1Ls, you're going to go through a lot of highlighters. So get some that you like and get some that you are not going to have issues with them bleeding through your textbook pages.
Ooh.
That's a pro tip right there. Now, moving into the fall, once you're already there, you know, take it one day at a time, but try to keep the bigger picture in mind while you're working because it is so easy to get caught up in the minutia of law school. There will always be tiny things vying for your attention, but your big picture goal is getting through your classes, getting good grades, and passing the bar exam. So what small steps can you take every day to push yourself further towards that goal? That is, I think, not just a fall semester tip, that's like a whole all of law school tip.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a life tip. You set your eyes on a goal and then you figure out the smaller steps in order to get you there. Because if you look at it as one big chunk, it can seem a little daunting. Can seem a little overwhelming. But if you look at, okay, this is where I'm going, but step one, make sure I get highlighters that don't bleed. Step two, make sure I'm taking good notes. Step three, I'm going to pass that test. That's an amazing way to kind of look at anything, whether it's law school or just, getting through a regular day. Some self care tips would probably be in there as well. Along the way, make sure you take a little time out for yourself because burnout from studying is definitely a thing that can happen, but we want to make sure that we take a good couple of minutes for ourselves and utilize all of the free resources that Themis Law Review has because you've got a lot of great things for people. Thank you so much, Rebecca, again for being my guest today. Tell us all how we can, for somebody who's just now turning in for the first time, how they can get in contact with you or how they can learn more.
Absolutely. So you can find us at Themis Bar on all social media platforms, and you can reach us via email at info@themisbar.com if you have questions. And to get enrolled with us, you can either do that through our website or you can send an email to info@themisbar.com and they can walk you through the steps that way.
And I'm quite sure you all are going to get an influx of incoming young prospective lawyers. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for being on with me again today. I appreciate it. We'll definitely have you back.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.